All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk. We're back. We was off for a week, but we're back, ready to talk some sports. A lot of stuff happened over the weekend. Big college football weekend, basically week one. I know they call that other one week zero or whatever, but to me, that was the first real weekend of regular season college football. And then you got NFL here in just 4 days, so and then NBA just be kicking off in just about a month. So getting to the busy time of the sports year. But no, joined by the judge, Jonathan Mathis, as always. How you doing, Judge?
I'm good, man. I'm good. But you know what? With all this heat that we're dealing with here on the West Coast, it's been so miserable. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. It has been so miserable. You have the heat on top of the humidity. And I think most people here in Southern California by now is over it because we have experienced a heat wave for far too long now. We're ready for cooler days.
Oh, but it was actually pretty nice here today. It was pretty comfortable outside.
Oh man, it's been it's been hella hot here, too hot. Like, what did we do to deserve this type of heat? And you know me, I'm a summer guy, but I'm over it now. I want change. I demand change.
Yeah, but see, I don't want the winter time because that means it's 20 degrees here or less.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
What's the coldest it gets? Before we get started, what's the coldest it gets like where you live at, and like in the winter?
Probably the 50s, the 60s. I don't know.
Oh fuck! That'd be perfect.
Yeah, but you don't want this right now. What we're dealing with.
Do we get it when it's 95 and 100 here, and then we get when it's below zero? We get both spectrums of it.
Every day to get a Slurpee to try to stay cool. I've been drinking 40 ounces of water every day to try to stay cool. The only thing that I don't have to my advantage is a swimming pool. If I had a swimming pool in my backyard, I'll be in the damn swimming pool every day trying to cool.
Speaking of a Slurpee, I've drank like 160 ounces of slushies over the last 2 days.
Oh yeah, I know. Hey, you know what? I think the bigger question though is how are you doing? How are you feeling health wise?
Oh, a lot better. Feeling a lot better today. Yesterday, I was finally able to start holding down some solid food and everything. I feel a lot better today.
Good, good, good.
Hopefully that's over with for a
Dad?
while.
What's up, Dad? Dad's in the house today.
Yep. Doing pretty good.
That's good
Yeah,
to hear.
yeah. For people that might be new, that this is my dad, Tony Gonzalez, with us. So Twister shirt.
Yeah, I feel nostalgic today because I got a Twister shirt on, as you can see. That
Yeah.
was one of my favorite games growing up as a kid. I love that game.
Glenn said it's Vegas hot out there right now.
In Cali,
That's what I'd say he's talking
hell
about.
yeah, and I heard in Vegas it's like 100 degrees, over 100 degrees. It's triple digits.
How's it going, Freddie?
How you doing, man? Hope all is well.
But yeah, man, we had a lot going on over the weekend in college football. What do you guys think? Maybe we learned the most from this weekend, and maybe was there any team that surprised you on how they played?
Ohio State's offense might be the best offense in the country after seeing them against Notre Dame. Now I know it's only one game. I know it's a small sample size, but it probably would be a monumental achievement if a team can hold them under 30 points. Because I mean, this team has a high flying offense just from looking at them against Notre Dame, and I'm just gonna say this: you better watch out for Ohio State.
See, I felt opposite about Ohio State.
Did you?
I wasn't impressed with their offense.
No.
All I heard about in the offseason how they were going to be the best offense in college football, and that Notre Dame defense shut the offense down till late in the game. I think the Notre Dame defense just got wore out some because the Notre Dame offense couldn't stay on the field. But once that one receiver went down, Stroud wasn't the same for a while. No, I'll give Stroud credit. He came back there late in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter and made some throws and played better. But after he lost that receiver early, I think he got rattled a little bit. But it was impressive that he was able to get focused and they pulled out a big win. But I wasn't as impressed with their offense as I thought I would have been this weekend.
What was Ohio State ranked? 2?
I think they were 2 because Georgia was 3. I think.
Notre
behind
Dame 5.
Alabama.
After that game with Notre Dame, I think going by that game, and I don't think it'll stay that way. I don't think neither one of them. I don't think Ohio State's number 2 in the country. And I don't think Notre Dame's number 5 in the country. I'm not saying it won't end up that way. I think both of them will probably play better as the season goes along. Now, Georgia didn't look like the number 3 team in the country. They played number 11 Oregon and beat them 49-3. Georgia looked like the number 1 team in the country, not number 2. I think Ohio State will be good, and I think their offense will get better. Hopefully, Notre Dame's offense is going to get better, or they're going to struggle.
Yeah, they're going to have to get better on offense, but you have to give Ohio State's defense some credit there too. Some of that I think was Ohio State's defense, which we'll find out as the season goes on. But I do agree. I think just by watching that game, I think Notre Dame has some work to do on the offensive side of the ball, and I just hope Ohio State can stay healthy because I'd like to see what they can do because they are a talented team.
They are very talented team.
What's up, Eddie?
What's up, Eddie? At USC, man, how impressive were they? Lincoln Riley and his coaching debut with USC, and you saw Caleb Williams, what he can bring to that offense. He was dazzling. He was impressive in his first game as the USC quarterback. And I like this kid because he can do everything. He's everything you want in a quarterback. He can throw, he can run. He could be a dual threat quarterback. He was making plays, he has that nifty footwork. The guy is mobile, can move around, can, elude the pressure, can extend plays, and has the speed and the explosiveness to, make something happen on the offense. And that's what we saw. And you saw it with this USC team. I mean, this looks like the USC team of old. This looks like the USC team that was once a powerhouse in the Pac-12 conference. And I know it's only one game again. I know it's against a Rice team that's not very good. But, it was still very astonishing and very impressive to see that USC looks like they're suddenly back on the right track. They got a coach now that can resurrect that program. In Lincoln Riley, and I believe in Lincoln Riley, and we saw the atmosphere out there. We saw a different electricity. We saw that newfound energy from the team, and there was just a different buzz around the Coliseum. It was just a nice scene, and USC looks like they can have a great year. Now, I'm not saying they're going to get to the playoffs. I think we'll be speaking a little bit too soon. But I think Lincoln Riley is the guy that can get them to the promised land. And I know at Oklahoma, he didn't win a lot of big games, but he did get Oklahoma, to, the playoffs and was very impressive there as well. So I think USC has bright days ahead of them, and I think they could put those tough years behind them. And finally, things are not looking bleak, but things are looking more promising. And there's a lot of certainty around this USC program.
Yeah, the thing that worries me about USC is their defense. Offensively, I think they're going to be able to score with about anybody in the country. I mean, everybody knows Lincoln Riley can run the offense, but his weakness at Oklahoma was the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
If he can't stir up that defense there at USC, you're going to get to a lot of big games, but you're going to see the same outcome as you saw in Oklahoma.
Right. But Chris, I'm glad you mentioned the defense because the defense was solid on Saturday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They had 3 pick sixes.
Yeah, how far they go is going to depend on how well that defense can play.
Right.
Yeah, they did play good in that game. You're right.
Interceptions in that game. So the defense was up on it. And the defense, I felt like, dictated things that the offense was able to flow. And that took a lot of pressure off of a guy like Caleb Williams. He was able to do his thing. And they were able to capitalize on those mistakes made by Rice. And they took advantage and they were able to pull away and come away with a big victory They put up 66 points.
Yeah, I just want to see what their defense looks like against a higher caliber offense. If
Right.
if that
Stanford
defense
or
can hold up,
something
if that
like that.
defense
Right.
can hold up, they'll be able to compete maybe for I don't know if they can make a top 4 this year, but they'll be up there.
Yeah. Oh,
up
yeah.
there. But that defense that's going to be the key because offensively they're fine.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing because I watched a lot of USC last year, and they didn't beat teams, even teams like Rice. They didn't necessarily beat teams like Rice really, really bad. Not like this bad. And so I think the offense is going to be a lot better, and they're going to be able to hang with people offensively. I know that's going to be the key. Their defense is not going to be that much better as far as just stopping teams. But the big key is, like you said, if they can get turnovers, a couple turnovers a game or something, that can change things drastically. So I think USC. I don't know what their schedule is. So if their schedule is like it's been in the past few years, I think they could possibly be a top 4 team.
Yeah, I'd have to see what their strength of schedule is as well because I'm not sure. See what we got. Yoel says, "What's your take of FSU defeating LSU by a missed extra point?" If you already commented on this, sorry for no, we haven't actually got to that game. We didn't really talk about that game. I think and then it got blocked, or wasn't there a penalty or something? And then it got another kick and it got blocked.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it happened in that game. It was a crazy ending. And then, speaking of that, there was a lot of crazy endings in college football. I mean, you had that North Carolina and Appalachian State game that were about 60 something to 60 something, and there was like 2 or 3 touchdowns scored in like the last 35 seconds of the game.
Yeah.
It was wild. Had a 2-point conversion miss that would have won the game, and they had it, and he just basically dropped it. I mean, so it's there was some wild finishes, but was there any teams that maybe aren't ranked that maybe stood out that you think are going to be better than what you thought?
I thought Purdue looked pretty good against Penn State.
Jonathan, I think you're muted. I couldn't hear. Yeah, you're muted.
It's still kind of early to tell. I don't know. It could go either way. There's a lot of great teams out there that's unranked, and there's always going to be that sleeper team. There's always going to be that one team that make a run to surprise everybody. But I just can't quite put my finger on that team just yet. Still kind of early in the college football season, and we have plenty of season left.
I was surprised. I thought one team I was surprised by, and it went by how good they played. It was how many mistakes they made, and they kind of blew the game. That was Cincinnati. You don't usually see a Luke Fickell team make stupid mistakes like they were making that honestly cost them that game. They don't make some of them stupid mistakes. They win the game. So I was surprised by that because you don't see Luke Fickell coach teams undisciplined like that. The FSU beating LSU, I ain't gonna call it like a major upset, but I thought FSU played better than what I thought they would. I thought LSU would win the game, but Brian Kelly's gonna have to figure out some stuff down there at LSU.
I think Brian Kelly's overrated.
Oh, I do too. I never cared for him. I'm not a Notre Dame fan by any means. I'm not going to claim Miami. I'm from Indiana, but I'm not a Notre Dame fan. But I didn't think Brian Kelly was all that great of a coach when he was at Notre Dame. I really didn't understand why they were so excited about getting him out there at LSU because, yeah, he got Notre Dame to some big games, but how many big games has he really won?
He hasn't. He hasn't really finished anything.
He really hasn't developed no quarterback.
He's good at changing the culture, and he does make a team relevant, but he can't win the big games. You know, and that's been the knock on Brian Kelly. You know, if he can win the big game, then yes, he is well deserving of the high praise. But he has shown time and time again that he can't get his team over the hump. He reminds you of George Cole, if that makes sense, or Marty Schottenheimer. Those guys were good at guiding their teams to the playoffs. But once they meet that team, that's better than them, and that team that has been battle tested, and the team that's just that much stronger than them, that's when they tend to fold, and that's what you see with Brian Kelly's teams.
One difference I will say with Schottenheimer, he beat some good teams, but in the playoffs, I agree. In the playoffs, he couldn't win the big one. Where Kelly, I don't think they really beat good teams. I mean, yeah, they beat the teams. They beat the teams they should beat. But anytime they played a team that was ranked higher than them, they lose.
Right.
They never beat anybody. They never beat anybody. You know, if they was ranked fifth and they was playing the third ranked team, they got beat. If they was ranked fourth and they played the second, I mean, they never won. Well, Schottenheimer's teams, they beat some good teams during the season, but yeah, he couldn't win the big one. He couldn't get over the hump in the playoffs.
And like Chris said, he's not good at developing quarterbacks. You know, he's not really an offensive guru when you really see him coach a team. I think he just recruits some of the best talent. You know, that's what makes him look good, because he does recruit brilliantly. But recruiting is one thing, developing the talent is another thing. And that's something that Brian Kelly lacks in, is developing the talent. And he better figure out which guy is going to be his quarterback, because if he's undecided and if he's going to go with both Jaden Daniels and the other kid, then it's going to be a long season for LSU.
Yeah.
So he has to pick one and stay with that guy and trust that guy to lead his offense.
Yeah, I agree. But speaking of quarterbacks, Michigan has two quarterbacks. They started one quarterback the other day, winning game. He played pretty good, but they're still going to start the other guy this week. And isn't the saying usually if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks? So
yeah.
How do you think this is going to play out for Jim Harbaugh here? Where I don't know. I just don't think it's good to not already made who your quarterback's going to be by the beginning of the season, because one, that's usually your leader of the team, and if the team don't know who the damn leader is, you know what I mean, who are they going to follow? So it's a weird situation to me. The way he's doing this. And like I said, it goes back to the old saying: if you have two quarterbacks, you have zero. Because if you can't pick out which one's better, neither one of them are probably at that level.
Well, you know, I don't know why you decide now is the time to experiment, and try to figure out what you have in your quarterback. I don't know. I don't like that. I think when you come into the season, you should already know who's going to be your starting quarterback. You know, and when you're playing two guys at one time and no one really knows their role, that's how your team usually struggles, because no one knows their role. And that also can swing the confidence of that quarterback. You know, the quarterback can lose confidence in himself. He can also struggle, and that would cause the entire offense to falter. Here's why. Because he's worried about his job. He's worried about his job as a starting quarterback, so he can't really focus on the game. You know, he's more concerned about, am I starting next week, or am I going to be on the bench next week?
Or not even that, or if I make one bad throw, are they going to take me out of the game?
Right.
He's always kind of looking over his shoulder. You're over his shoulder, like, right, because you feel like if you make one mistake, they might pull you out of the game. So then you press and you start making mistakes that you might not make if you felt like they believed in you and you were comfortable in your job.
Exactly. And this is why I believe Cade McNamara made the mistakes that he made on Saturday. There were some uncharacteristic mistakes. He was turning over the ball. You know, he didn't look calm out there. He didn't look comfortable. And he looked like a quarterback who was under a tremendous amount of pressure. He just didn't look like himself, because he knows that he's going to be splitting time with this JJ McCarthy guy. And he knows that if he makes that one bad mistake, that it could be over for him, and that Jim Harbaugh can make the decision and go with JJ McCarthy as his starter.
Now, so the other guy's going to start this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay, so who did they play the first week?
Cade McNamara.
No, I think.
What team?
Trying to remember what team they played now.
All the team that they played.
Well, I'm just wondering if he's trying to give each guy, and I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm just wondering if he's trying to give each guy a start to see how they play against, and then make his decision.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. But I just don't.
Yeah, I'm not saying I agree with it because, like you guys said, you get inside players' head because once he picks the guy, or you can even have your team get where they're where they, I like this other quarterback better.
Yeah, you can start dividing your team.
Divide your team. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying that's probably what he's doing. That you should have done. You should be able to do that in your off season, in your practices, and decide to go with somebody. And then if they don't work out after 2 or 3 games, you need to make a change. Then you make that change. But yeah, I'm not a fan of what he's doing. But
I'm not a fan of that either. It's unconventional.
They played Colorado State.
Yeah, and they blew them out.
51-7.
They blew them out. But when you look at the team in the first half, Cade McNamara, I always mess up on his name. Excuse me. He was making mistakes, like I said a moment ago. And the guy he didn't get settled in right away. It took him some time to find himself and to get into a rhythm. And once he got into a rhythm, he looked more comfortable. He looked more poised. He started to make those plays that his team needed him to make. And I think more than anything, I think it was nerves. I think it was jitters. I think it's the fact that that you can lose your starting job.
Well, it's okay. You said they beat him 51-7. So what if his quarterback comes out and they win 40-0? So what did that tell you? One guy you scored 40 points and this guy scored 51. I mean, I don't.
They play Hawaii this week.
Yeah, they play Hawaii, which they should beat bad. So I mean, pretty good. So I don't see what that's telling you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How are you really learning anything from it? Because, like you said, they both played real good. Then now you're trying to decide between them.
It is real game situation. I guess that's the only thing you can say other than practice. But unless them two are just that close. But if they're that close, what difference does it make? Decide on the starter, and if after 2 or 3 games you're not happy with it, change.
Right.
Yeah, because and that's what he's doing is trying to decide the starter. But I just think, man, and I understand because he likes McNamara is more of your passer kind of pocket guy.
Yeah,
but he likes that. He likes the athleticism of McCarthy and the potential of McCarthy. It's kind of the situation he had when he was in the NFL with the 49ers with Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick.
Right.
It's kind of like that situation is what he has. It wouldn't surprise me even if McNamara gets the starting job if by the end of the season that McCarthy is the starter. Because I mean, look why he done with Kaepernick when he first starting Kaepernick. People was like, what's going on? And it worked out. So it wouldn't surprise me if something like that don't happen with this Michigan team, especially if he starts McNamara and say McNamara starts struggling a little bit toward the middle of the season. Well, I think you can see a quarterback change, and that's always going to be in the quarterback's head.
Like you said, one bad half. You play one bad half, and you're probably coming out of the game.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
What's up, Con man? Haven't heard from you in a while. Says hello, Gonzo and the judge.
Oh man, Con man went MIA. What's going on, man? I hope all is well. We haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for tuning in.
And Cole said, did you guys see the old Alabama offense coordinator commenting on Nick Saban? Saban might be a little scared of Texas this year. I don't know if Texas will have enough for Alabama this year, but I think here in a couple of years, Texas is going to be right there with Alabama. I think have a team that could be Alabama
Saturday because this is their test. This is Alabama's real test. We saw what Bryce Young did last week, and we know Bryce Young's an absolute stud, right? He won the Heisman. He's a damn good quarterback. You can never bet against him. But We'll see. We'll see what happens on Saturday. That's the big game of the week. That's the game that everyone's going to be talking about. Texas versus Alabama. You
I
know,
just don't think Texas is going to have enough offense yet.
I don't think they have enough offensive firepower to hang with Alabama either.
Here in 2 or 3 years when they get Arch Manning in there and some of that recruiting class that's coming with them, I think Texas is going to be a team people are going to want to look out for.
I think I'm more worried about Texas defense right now.
Hook them home.
I watched Texas play a lot last year because I watched a lot of, I don't know why I did, but I watched a lot of Fox, and they had a lot of Texas games and a lot of USC games and those leagues games on. And Texas defense was horrendous last year.
Braylon Allen will win the Heisman, is what Dustin says.
Caleb Williams has already put himself in conversation for the Heisman. He has already pleaded his case.
Oh no, yeah, Cole, you're right. It's possible that Texas can beat them. I was just saying I don't think that they have enough this year. But hey, you see teams lose all the time that you don't think is going to lose. So
yep, that's true. I will say this: if Alabama don't have their guard up, they will lose. So they better go into that game with a winning mindset.
The game I'm more interested in seeing is Alabama and Texas A&M because I want to see Fisher and Saban face to face. That's what that's what I want to see.
I think everyone's waiting for that matchup, right? I think everyone wants to see them in a UFC match too. I think we'll all pay to see that.
Hey, there's a big UFC fight this weekend. Nate Diaz against Chimaev.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I know you're into. I know you guys are into all that stuff.
Well, dude, I love combat sports.
I know. I know.
Yeah, bare knuckle fighting is one of the funnest things to watch, man.
I need to get into it too, man, because it be hyped up.
All right, let's talk. We've talked quite a bit about college. Let's talk a little NFL before we get out of here. Week 1, NFL regular season kicks off this week. Thursday night Thursday night game. I don't think we could ask for a much better of a game than what we're getting with the Rams and Bills to kick off the season. I think it's going to be it should be a great game. I think the Bills are going to win by a field goal, but I think it's going to be an awesome game.
That's what I picked too. He probably ain't going to hear
that. Nah,
I picked 24-21 Buffalo.
Okay. I don't have a score, but I think the Rams can win it by a touchdown.
How you feel about NFL season finally getting here, coming back? And
oh man,
dude, there's a lot of good week 1 matchups. The way they've made these schedules this year with a lot of the division games are front loaded in the toward the front of the regular season. It's going to make these first 5-6 weeks in the NFL real fun to watch because there's a lot of division games, and like every division game that in the AFC West is basically almost a playoff game.
It looks like
it could be them. Almost them 4 teams, I think, are going to be close to being all 4 of them are going to be close to being playoff caliber teams.
Right.
So, there's starting to be a little more. NFL's getting where there ain't really no like dominant favorite. It's, you know what I mean? It's a little bit more parity where about any team can come out of nowhere and surprise people.
Well, that's why we watch football, right? Parity, the action, the drama, the contact, the physicality. That's why we watch football. And that's why football is America's #1 sport. You even have women tuning in to watch football. I mean, that's how we glorified the sport in this country. And it's something that all men and even women look forward to. We look forward to the NFL season, and it's back. It's right here. And the division that I'm looking forward to seeing, to me, the AFC West is the most stacked division. I mean, that division is up for grabs. Anyone could pretty much win that division. I mean, the Raiders are loaded. You have Derek Carr. He has reunited with his old friend, Devontae Adams. He can throw to him now on Sundays. You have the Kansas City Chiefs. You can't count out Patrick Mahomes. You can't discount what he has done in his young career. And then his coach, who is a creative mind, Andy Reid, is always coming up with something creative on the offense. And then you have the Chargers, who I think a lot of people are overlooking. A lot of people are not paying attention to Justin Herbert, who has become a stud. He's definitely the franchise quarterback there. And, he has grown with the team. He has quickly made a name for himself, and he has caught on really, really quick. And when you watch him go through his progressions, it's amazing stuff, right? Because the guy continues to get better. He elevates everyone around him. And this Chargers team is no joke. And you look at their defense. You look at their pass rush with Joey Bosa. And you look at what they have in the secondary. They just paid their guy in the secondary, James. And he could be huge for them, in that secondary. And then you got the Denver Broncos. I mean, a lot of people were saying they were a quarterback away. Let's see what Russell Wilson can do. I don't think he's going to be that same elite quarterback that he was in Seattle, but I think he can, help propel that team and help that team maybe, jockey for a position in the playoffs. It's going to be exciting to watch this season. And then you got the Rams, who's playing the Buffalo Bills to start off the season. I mean, what better matchup? You can't ask for a better matchup than that to kick off the season. Just great scheduling, and I think that game's gonna come down to a dramatic finish. I think it's gonna be very close. I got the Rams by a touchdown. I do like Josh Allen. To me, he's the top-ranked quarterback in the NFL. Let's put some respect on that guy's name because he's done well in Buffalo, and he has elevated everyone around him. And, I think all his teammates have kind of gravitated to him, because that's the type of player he is. He's a damn good quarterback. It's a shame that he lost on a coin toss last year. Yes, you got to put some of the blame on that defense too, because that defense did let up. They took their foot off the gas pedal.
Yeah, it was that defense's fault.
Right. That defense had an epic collapse, that night. It was bad. But Buffalo, to me, is the favorites to come out of the AFC. And to me, the Rams are the favorites to come out of NFC. Now, like Tony said a few weeks ago, the Rams could easily miss out on the Super Bowl this year, because it's very rare that the team gets back in the Super Bowl after the following year. You have the hangovers. You don't usually have all your returning players. There's usually a team that has gotten better. But I think if there's one team that can stop the Rams, and I'm going to say it, it's the Tampa Bay Bucks. Tom Brady's back. He decided to unretire. He didn't sign his retirement documents just yet. He said, no, hold on. I got that itch to still play. I'm coming back for another year. And if you guys remember last season,
but with that being said,
the Bucks almost beat the Rams.
Yeah, but remember this though. But with that being said, right now, the Bucks are in trouble right now. They don't have an offensive line right now with injuries. And if they don't get a healthy offensive line, Tom Brady's not going to be able to do what he done last year.
That's true. But I'm looking at their defense too. That defense.
But if your offense can't. Everybody knows if your offense can't at least stay on the field and get first downs, right, eventually your defense gets tired.
Right, they become fatigued.
And what's the one weakness against Tom Brady? If you can get pressure up the middle.
Yeah.
If they don't, them offensive line in the middle can't hold up. Tampa will be in trouble this year.
That frustrates.
That's what scares me about Tampa is them injuries.
Right.
Yeah, and one more thing, real quick. Nate, if you want to hop on, hop on real quick. If there's something you're wanting to talk about, that's fine.
Chris, what about the Saints too? I mean, if Jameson Winston has a big year, the Saints.
I agree. I was talking about the Saints earlier. As I think they're going to have a top 10 defense, and with if Jameis Winston stays healthy, they're going to be tough. The only thing that worries me about him or about that team, and it's kind of the same with Buffalo, is that with Sean Payton being gone. And we've seen Dennis Allen as a head coach before, and I'm not saying he was in the best situation there with the Raiders either.
It didn't go well.
But I think being under Payton has helped them But hey, Dave, Peyton's a hell of a coach, and to not have him in your building no more. I mean, we could see a little bit of a difference in that team. But I think the Saints are going to be a tough team, and with the Bills, I think Josh Allen is going to still be great like he has been. But what's the offense going to look like without that coordinator Dable? You know what I mean? Because sometimes new coordinators come in, or you don't have that same chemistry and that same play calling rhythm, and a team can look different.
And
I
that's
see
a
this.
question mark
I
right
see the
there.
Saints winning the division this year,
What's
because
up, Nate?
with the Bucks with the offensive line, like it seems like every time I take a step forward, somebody goes down hurt with an injury, and how can Brady be able to do that without protection? Do what he normally does without protection? You got Mike Evans, sure. Chris Godwin's coming back from an injury. You still have him, but he came back with an injury. So
Cole
I
said
got
missed
New
interception.
Orleans.
Winston. Winston was playing good. Winston was playing good last year, and had not turned the ball over a whole lot before he got injured.
And they got Thomas back.
Right. And he's the one guy that can throw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions in one season, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
Which is unheard of.
Look what Thomas is capable of doing when Thomas is healthy.
Now, keep in mind though, I don't think I've ever seen Jameis Winston with a defensive-minded head coach.
That's true too. And that's something people didn't. I think people don't give him. They get on him too hard because all quarterbacks that played under Arians, well, most of them, I don't want to say all, most of them, their interceptions were higher because he takes chances. He wants to throw the ball down the field all the time. And you kind of saw it at first when him and Tom Brady first got together. The offense, it took him a while to get in rhythm because Brady wasn't used to throwing the ball deep all the time. You know what I mean? And they finally kind of meshed their styles together and came up with something that worked. But so I think Winston in a different style and maybe being with a defensive minded coach might help him a little bit.
Hey, Chris, and I know I told you before I predicted Buffalo to win the Super Bowl. That's who I got. But I do have a question mark about Buffalo. I still question the running game. I still wonder if with Singletary, I think still a starter, is their running game strong enough to win it all?
Yeah, I had that same question too. I
thought they'd upgrade.
I think a lot of it was Singletary. A lot of times they just don't give him many carries either.
I thought they would upgrade that position, and they didn't.
No, I agree. And then another one in the NFL, Mitch Trubisky named captain for the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to be the starter. Does it surprise you guys that he won the starting job?
No.
And he's a captain. I'll let Nate go first. I'll give my opinion on it last.
He's a captain because he plays quarterback. I think they kind of give that position because of where that leadership role, because it's basically the definition of the position that he plays. So no, I'm not surprised they gave him a captain spot. Giving him the starter, yeah, I'm not surprised about that either. I think that you're going to see Kenny Pickett kind of go on the same route that Trey Lance did for the 49ers, where he gets sit for a full year. I don't think that you're going to see Kenny Pickett play at all this season, especially since he wasn't a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, Dad, what do you think about it?
I got a little different view. I think it just depends. I'm surprised they made him a captain because I think that Pickett will play if they start off 2-4, 2-5, 3-5. I think you'll see Pickett in the second half of the season. So I'm kind of surprised they made him a captain because I mean, is it kind of unusual to have if somebody's not going to be your start, maybe not be your starting quarterback by the end of the season, be the captain? But now, I think Trubisky could have a good year. I'm not saying. I'm just saying if they have struggles, I think Trubisky's pretty good. I think Trubisky's got a lot to prove. I know he's not going to end up being their guy for years to come, but I think he's playing for a starting position somewhere else. So I think it'll be interesting. But I wouldn't be shocked if they get off to a rough start that you'll see Pickett the second half of the season.
What are your thoughts on this? The judge.
Well, Mitchell Trubisky.
We gotta get you a gavel, dude.
That'd be cool. Mitchell Trubisky, he's a 5-year veteran. He's been around the league for some time, and I know this guy, turned over the ball quite a bit in Chicago, but he didn't have the best coach either, and he wasn't always put in the best position to succeed. He's gonna be in a new system now. And his head coach is Mike Tomlin, I might add. So maybe we'll see a different Mitchell Trubisky. He has surfaced as the leader, in more ways than one. I guess he proved himself in week 3. He had a terrific outing in the first half. He put up some good numbers, and that was enough to impress a lot of people within the Steelers organization. And Tomlin has decided to make him not only the starter, but the captain of the team. What this tells me is that Mitchell Trubisky is more of a leader, that he is liked in the locker room, that the players feel comfortable with him being that guy. And, he has really bought into the system. He has, shined since he's signed with the team. Now, I know he's got some shoes to fill, having to replace a quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger, but the Steelers are not asking him to be Ben Roethlisberger. They want him to be himself and just be able to make enough plays for the team so they could win. So I can see why Mitchell Trubisky was given the starting job. He was a starter in Chicago. Also, Pickett might not be ready yet. He could learn from Mitchell Trubisky. If Mitchell Trubisky has those leadership qualities, he could learn from that guy. Pickett will eventually get his chance. It's just not right now. Pickett was drafted for the future, not necessarily for tomorrow. Pickett will get his chance. It's his hometown team. You rest assured he will get his start someday. And Mason Rudolph is just not that starting type quarterback. He's more of like a backup type of guy. So I can see why Mike Tomlin why the team signed Mitchell Trubisky, and why Mike Tomlin decided to go with Trubisky as a starting quarterback.
My thoughts on this is that is about the same as the judge. I think all how I feel about what I think Baker Mayfield's going to do in Carolina this year. And I kind of feel the same way about Trubisky. I think Pittsburgh's going to be a little bit better than what people think. I think Trubisky is a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's a high level guy that's going to take you to a Super Bowl by himself or anything like that. But I think he could be a decent starting quarterback in the league. I think a lot of it was Nagy. Then you get into a situation where the team don't believe in you and they start benching you and putting you back out there. That breaks the guy's confidence. I think he has his confidence back right now. I think he's with Tomlin, and I think he feels like Mike Tomlin believes in him. I don't think he's looking over his shoulder like, if I make one mistake, I'm going to be out. So I'm not saying he's going to lead them to the Super Bowl this year, but I think Trubisky's going to have a good year. And I think the Pickett draft pick, especially after they got Trubisky, I think they were looking for him maybe in a couple of years. Because if Trubisky can have a good year this year, I think they'll start him again next year and keep letting Pickett grow. Dustin says he thinks Trubisky will be in New York next year. I could see that if they do go with Pickett, because like Dustin says, Brian Daboll loves Trubisky. And with the Giants, with Daniel Jones, I mean, he's on his last straw, so that would be interesting. What's up, Lennon? Thanks for joining us.
What's up, Lennon? What's up, my good friend?
I know this is slightly a little bit off topic, but I do not see Daniel Jones being the starter. I mean, he's going to be a starter week 1 probably, but I don't see him being the starter in every single game this season. I think it's maybe like week 7, week 8, and you put in Tyrod Taylor.
Daniel Jones is just one of them
Well, we'll
players.
see.
He's hard to judge, man, because you can see the potential. You can
Right.
see the potential he has where he could be a hell of a quarterback, but then it always seems like he finds some way to. I don't want to say that word. Let's find some way to mess it up. I don't want to say the F word. I'm trying to watch my
He
language.
finds some way to see ghosts.
And it just don't. I don't know. It just.
Well, he's always trying to do too much.
Yep, that's true.
Right.
Always trying to do too much. He's trying to make plays and then he fumble the ball. He's trying to make up for other shortcomings the team has, and he's got to stop doing that, or he's like I said, he's not going to be a starting quarterback much longer.
And it hurts him that Saquon keeps getting hurt because
they try to build a team around Saquon, and then your main piece is gone. Now you
lose your running game, and I mean, if you don't have a running game and your offensive line's terrible, that's one thing they got to fix that offensive line. But I could see Jones not making it the whole season. I mean, because like I said, they didn't sign it, they didn't pick up his last year option, so he's playing for his job.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago. Remember, not only did they lose Barkley, but they lost almost their whole receiving core, their tight ends. I mean, they didn't have anybody, and all it was just Jones, and he didn't have anybody to throw to or hand off the ball to. They were terrible. I mean, they were just terrible.
Yeah, and that's a point. If Dayball can do with Jones like he did with Allen, I mean, look how much improvement Allen made with Dayball. If he can do that with Jones, I mean,
yeah, that's what I was about to say too. If there's one guy that could foster the development of a quarterback, it's Daboll. And we can see there's a great chance that Daniel Jones could be nourished by a guy like Daboll. Only time will tell. But I'm not ready to give up on Jones just yet. I know there's a lot of people probably feel the opposite about it, and they're ready to see him go because some of those New York Giants fans, they don't have the patience to wait. They're ready to win right now. They want the quarterback to be good, or they want him out. So let's give him one more season. Let's see what he does under this new regime. Let's see what he does under this new coaching staff. Let's see if he can thrive in this offense now.
And one thing real quick, Pickett is as of right now, is the third string quarterback.
They got Rudolph ahead of Pickett.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
I still don't. I'll be honest. I don't know how Rudolph has been able to keep that backup job at Pittsburgh.
Rudolph played really well of course, we're talking about
preseason.
Preseason. He played really well this preseason, but again, he played most of it in the third string. The third quarterback coming in. So
he's a backup at best.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to some final thoughts. Is anything else that you guys what your final thoughts? Something we haven't talked about, or that you wanted to talk about, or basically whatever. Nate, we'll go ahead and start with you.
I just wanted to get a little bit of being a big Denver Broncos fan and all. I just wanted to get a little bit of Denver Bronco thoughts into this. I guess what I'm trying to say.
Oh, go for it.
I guess for the season preview, I've been hearing a lot of reports and things saying that there were a lot of people that said that Denver didn't really have an offensive line, didn't have a receiving core, didn't have good protection for Peyton Manning when Peyton Manning came in. And they brought him to an AFC conference. He brought them to an AFC conference championship game. Do I see it with Russ in the first year? No. AFC was way too stacked. And
especially your guys' division.
Yes. But we're not the only division out there that is stacked. You got the AFC North as well. I see the Ravens doing really well this year. See the Bengals doing really well this year. Steelers might shock some people.
I think Steelers are going to be pretty good. I do.
And we have a pass rush, yes, but we don't have anyone that stops, we need guys that can get protection. We need guys that can be able to stop the running backs.
Yeah,
We don't have that.
You guys need to got some run stoppers up the middle.
Yeah. And a lot of the schedule that we have, I mean, we have the Titans on the schedule. We have the Colts with Jonathan Taylor on the schedule. Look at the AFC West, Chargers with Austin Eckler, Raiders with Josh Jacobs. We have a lot of these guys. Even the Jaguars. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jaguars came in and upset us with those two running backs.
Yeah, if you can't stop the run, it's a big problem. And Colts used to have that problem years ago where we couldn't stop the run, and your defense can't get off the field, and it don't matter who you have as quarterback. If they're not out in the field, they can't make no plays to help you win a game.
Our schedule, I guess what I'm trying to say is our schedule, if we had this issue back in 2012, and that was our biggest issue, maybe we can make the playoffs. I can't see it now.
Oh, so you don't think the Broncos will make the playoffs this year?
I don't. I see double-digit wins, yes. But it's an 8 seed.
Well, everybody said that the Denver Broncos were just a quarterback away.
Yeah. Dad, what were you going to say?
Well, one thing about San Diego is, Chris, if you remember last year, they was the worst-ranked team at one point against the run. San Diego was horrible defense against the run last year, and if they don't fix that, I think San Diego's really going.
Well, it's that Los Angeles.
Okay. Give me a break. Chargers to me, San Diego. Sorry. Okay, Los Angeles Chargers. I'll just try to call them Chargers. But yeah, if they don't stop the run, I think they could struggle. Even though I do think they're a very talented team. Great quarterback, some really good receivers. Eckler's really good. We'll just have to see if they can stop the run better. Denver, I like Russell Wilson there. I think Wilson will do great there.
Yeah.
So
That's another thing. I like that we got Wilson. I don't like the trade. We don't have any draft capital. We don't have any drafts coming into this next year. We didn't have any drafts coming into this year.
Yeah.
When you go out and get a big player like that, that's what happens. You're going to lose your pick, unfortunately.
Judge, you have any final thoughts, man?
Yeah, well, tomorrow I'm going to be turning the chapter to chapter 37, as I will turn 37 years old.
Well, actually, in 1 minute, you'll be.
One minute.
One minute my time. 1 minute my time. It's your birthday.
Yeah, long time for you. About another 3 hours.
Yeah, my time another 3 hours. But
yeah,
another 3 hours for me too.
I'm looking the book, and I'm going to chapter 37, and so I'm blessed that I'm still here and alive and well. A lot of people don't make it to C37, so
you're a young pup. You're a young pup.
Oh yeah, yes, thank you. I feel old sometimes, but
I'm the second oldest guy on the show.
wait till you get to be 59, and you'll then talk about old. And people don't consider that old. Wait till you get to that age.
I'm 41. I'll be 42 next month, or not next month. Well, about a month and a half in November.
We're in the prime age.
I think, Nate, what are you, 19, 20?
I turned 21 in January.
Hell, I have a son older than Nate.
I don't know, he's my oldest grandson. I don't want to hear this crap.
Cole says he's 22. That's how old my son is.
Yeah.
Man, you guys make me see. It's the ones in their 20s that make me feel old. Because I remember when I was in my 20s.
Well, man, me and Dad done a lot of community stuff with baseball and wrestling. Dad started it all, and then when I got older, I started helping them. But man, you'll run into these kids that you used to coach when they were little kids, and now they're grown, and it's like, man, you feel old. Like hell, when I had COVID and went to the hospital, the ambulance came to pick me up. One of the EMTs I used to coach in baseball, and he's an EMT. And then I get to the hospital, and my doctor was a kid that I coached in middle school wrestling years before that. It's like, man, I feel old.
I bet you do.
Were you going to say something, Dad?
No, I'm good.
But yeah, you never know. But yeah, I think the Broncos will be all right. I think it's going to become the offensive line. I think is going to be a big thing that they have to make sure they sure up. And then, like Nate says, it is going to be the running. They're going to have to stop the run. If you can't stop the run and get off the field, it don't matter if you have a quarterback or not. I mean, even when you have a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady, if they're standing on the sideline, they can't do anything.
Right.
All right, Dad, you have any final thoughts?
Go Colts.
Yeah, I'm ready for the Colts
Oh,
game.
one game I tell you to watch out for because just the storyline coming Sunday is Carolina in the Cleveland game. I think
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
That's going to be interesting just for the storyline.
Because I think if Baker starts putting it on them, Baker's going to be talking shit to the Cleveland sideline. You know how he is. He'll talk. He's going to be talk if gets hot and playing well. He's going to talk some shit.
That's going to be interesting. So a lot of good games Sunday though.
Oh yeah, I can't wait till this weekend. Sunday I'll be sitting in the recliner watching football all day.
That's what I'll be doing too. Same thing, all day.
What time the games for you guys? The games start like at 10 in the morning.
10 in the morning. Yep.
10 in the morning. Yeah.
It's 1 in the afternoon our time. And happy birthday, Jonathan, because it's 12:02 where I live.
Thank you, thank you, fellas. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So I was gonna say I'll probably be asleep by the time it's your birthday, your time, and I'll probably be awake because I can't sleep. So,
and one more thing, I think the Bills are gonna win Thursday.
Yeah, I have the Bills winning by a field goal.
I mean, it could go either way.
But yeah, it could go either way. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, it's a hell of a game to kick off the season. But again, everybody watching, don't forget that Thursday night football this year. The games are on Amazon TV. I think the first game isn't, but after that, you can't find it on regular cable. So you gotta make sure you get Amazon TV if you want to watch Thursday night games. That might be something for if you didn't know, maybe to think about. Because if you wait till the last second, you might have trouble getting in there.
Yeah. Well, with my fiance and all the apps that she paid for, we got Amazon Plus. So
Yeah,
I'm good.
Judge said, "I'm good. I don't got to worry about it."
I'm good.
Fiance takes care of you, right?
Oh, she takes really good care of me.
Cole says, "Have a good night, guys. Stay safe." Oh yeah,
Have a good night, Cole. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to watch Rings of Power.
My fiance watches that.
Well, you guys are probably going to laugh at me, but what is Rings of Power?
It's a spinoff to. Have you heard of Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's a spinoff of that. Okay,
it's a spinoff. Yeah.
I tried to watch that Game of Thrones. I don't know if I just didn't give it a chance long enough, but I've just never been able to get into it like everybody else was. My show is Sons of Anarchy. Sons of Anarchy, dude. That's my favorite show of all time.
Nice.
Hell, I was watching it while I was sick.
I'm always watching the Marvel series and the Star Wars series on Disney+.
Well, no,
Same.
I don't think Dad watches much Star Wars, but I know he watches a lot of the Marvel stuff.
Marvel, and I like a lot of I like the Arrow TV series. Arrow.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Except for season 5, I didn't really care too much about season 5.
Yeah, I liked Arrow a lot.
Yeah, I like Arrow.
But the last couple of years of the Flash, I didn't care for, but
Same.
But I think they kind of jumped the shark a little bit. Oh,
After Crisis.
One thing, Sports Judge, I don't know if you ever heard of this guy, and if you haven't, look him up. A comedian. He's back from my days, so you probably haven't heard. His name was Flip Wilson.
Nope. Heard of him.
He had a gimmick, and he'd come out and he would have the powdered wig on, the judge outfit. Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge. He would sing that coming to the judge bench. And so
nice.
Look that up. His name was Flip Wilson.
All right.
Here comes the judge. He used to have a TV series back in the probably early 70s. He was and for a black comedian to have a TV series on TV in the 70s were very unusual. And I think it was on for 3 or 4 seasons, if I remember correctly. But it was very good. I remember watching as a kid. So check that out. But that was a big thing. That was his big thing. Was Here Comes the Judge.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
We're gonna get the judge. We're gonna get the judge a gavel and a powdered wig.
Order in the court. Order in the
All right. Nate, before we get out of here, tell everybody where they can find you out, what time the show is and stuff.
Yeah, you can find me every Saturday at every Saturday evening. I try to aim for that around that slot. And then maybe try to go for somewhere around there. I do a show called Sports Status, and I'm trying to build up this crew of 3 people with me, Coley Turner, and a guy named Logan Kendrick. We do a lot of Madden simulation games. We also do I'm also doing a lot of college football play-by-play breakdowns. Yeah, you can find those usually on Saturdays, somewhere in that 7:00 p.m. Pacific time slot. So any of the games after 7 is I do probably one of those.
So that's 11 Eastern.
Yeah, actually, I think that's 10.
10. It starts at 7.
10. Yeah, 10. I can't. Hey, I'm from the south side of town. I can't add.
Yeah. I know the high school he went to. I went to the same one. He's telling the truth.
I've never been to Indianapolis, so.
Well, I live in Indianapolis. We live about 40 minutes outside of Indianapolis. We live in Muncie, where Ball State University is.
Okay.
Chris, what's Indianapolis known for now? People getting shot. What's Muncie known for? for meth. So that's where we live.
Wow.
Hey,
Yeah.
This ain't no shit, guys. Go back on the Gonzo Sports Room YouTube page and go back to about a year ago. That's when I started. And there's an episode on there. We were doing a watch along for the Indiana Pacers and Los Angeles Lakers game. And the game it was like 10 seconds left in the game. We're all into the game. It was me and my cousin that used to do this with me, and another friend of ours, another kid I used to coach in baseball and stuff. And all of a sudden, dude, you just hear pop, 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 pop. There's like 20 gunshots just right around the corner. Our microphones picked them up. Like my cousin jumps up.
It's funny, but
He jumps up and he starts checking himself to see if he was hit.
He said if he shot. I was rolling. I was cracking up.
There's a clip on there. It's like a 2-minute clip on there back on the YouTube page, but it's funnier than hell. But yeah, dude, there's gunshots. Pop, 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 pop.
It's getting rough in a lot of these suburb cities too. It is. It really is. It's getting crazy everywhere.
Yeah, over here where I'm living right now, dude. There's in the last 3 or 4 months, there's been 2 or 3 different nights that there's been gunshots about 2, 3 in the morning. And hell, one night we had a guy, 3 people got murdered.
Yeah, we've had 3 get murdered. We just had a guy on Ball State campus a week or 2 weeks ago. 19-year-old kid get basically right outside of a bar just gunned down. Well, the guy chased him and shot him 3 or 4 times.
Oh,
it's got pretty bad.
Wow, senseless. The gun violence, man.
Yeah, it's I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not against guns necessarily. I've never been a gun person myself. I'm not going to tell somebody else, right, you can't have a gun or nothing like that. But
here in Washington.
Hey, Cole, whenever you want to go to a Pacers game, hey, just let me know, dude. I'm always down. It's only, like I said, it's like a 40-minute drive from my house to the stadium.
Here
if I lived in Indiana, I would go with you guys too.
The biggest crime in the area that I'm at in Washington would probably be robbery.
Robbery. See,
yeah.
These days though, I don't think there's, at least where like we live, dude, there used to be like neighborhoods, all that's where stuff gets stolen. Now it happens everywhere in our town. It's crazy.
Because
people get off catalytic converters off cars and shit. I mean,
drugs
they're doing that out here too. Yeah, they're doing that out here in our neighborhood too. They're stealing the converters off the cars. It's crazy.
Yeah, that meth in our town's really, in our county, just really, really bad.
Yeah, and we got a lot of homeless people in my city now. And 20 years ago, you didn't see any homeless people walking the street.
Not like now, especially here in our town. You didn't see many in our town. And now you
And all
drive
of a
by,
sudden,
it's crazy. Every few blocks, you see somebody on the corner. It seems like.
Yeah, we'd go to the Colts games a few years ago, and underneath the bridge there, walking to the Colts game, there'd just be all kinds of homeless people laying on mattresses and stuff.
that's
They're
here
in,
too.
yeah, in
Cardboard,
Indian,
they have
Chicago.
cardboard laying on
Yeah.
Yeah,
it.
that's here too. It's a lot of homeless encampments out here now. It's really disturbing to see, really.
At least, well, I'm not trying to be funny or anything, but at least they've got decent weather. I mean, here
Yeah.
in the Midwest, you got these homeless men that have to come out here in this 0 degree and 10 or 20 in the wintertime. And man, I don't know how they make it. I really don't.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's sad that we, as a, I don't know. I just don't think people. There's no reason for people to be homeless when we, as a country, we have guys that are making $400-500 million a year,
Chris,
but
we're giving other
we have
countries
people on the street.
we're giving other countries $40 million, 100 million, 200 million, giving all these people money, and we've got people here that can't make it and don't have food to eat or homeless. It's ridiculous. We need to take care of. I mean, I'm not against not helping everybody, but we need to take care of our own first.
Yep, I agree. And you got people out here, man. They're trying to figure out where their next meal's gonna come from.
Sports Judge, let everybody know where they can find you at.
Man,
Besides Gonzo and the Sports Judge.
You guys can find me on various platforms, man. You guys can find me on my YouTube channel, The Sports Judge. Look up The Sports Judge. It'll pop up and you'll see my YouTube channel. And do me a huge favor, subscribe to that channel, like that channel, share the channel, get it out there. Tell people about me, man. I have a good time with all the sports fans. So, I talk about the hottest topics in sports. I do short take videos. And we have a good time. And I hope to see you guys there. And you guys can also follow me on Instagram, SportsJudge85. I've been boycotting Instagram though. but still, you can follow me there. You can follow me on Twitter, SportsJudge85.
Sports Judge, are you getting along with the Padre fans now?
Yeah, yes and no. Yes and
I
no.
know. At one point you having some issues with the Padre fans. I didn't know how it's going right now.
Padre fans and Marlins fans, yes.
Yeah, one night he was arguing with the Marlins fans, and I was cracking up.
Yeah, good times.
And then for the Gonzo Sports Room, you can find us YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're a pro wrestling fan, we have a lot of pro wrestling stuff on there. And we've live streamed I'd say over 30 independent pro wrestling shows now. We've had WWE Hall of Famer Rikishi was on one of the shows. Samu, his brother, but was also his tag team partner in the Head Shrinkers. The Boogeyman. Getting ready to do a show where Mick Foley, hardcore legend, WWE Hall of Famer, and Boogeyman both will be at. That'll be on October 1st. So we'll be live at that event. You'll be able to watch the matches, and we do live commentary. So if you enjoy wrestling, go check that out. Plus, we're not just wrestling. We do a sports betting show every day. Easy Money, a sports betting show, 3 p.m. Eastern. You find it YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch live at Gonzo Sports Room, and also live on the All Sports All Plays Network. Make sure you go to All Sports All Plays Network, hit that subscribe button on their YouTube page as well. We got there's a lot of talent over on ASAP. Nate's part of ASAP. I'm part of ASAP. Jonathan's part of ASAP. But then you have a lot of other talented guys over here that do shows as well. Good morning show every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m.
That show is golden. That show is gold. It's always some drama going on there. It's a great show.
And then at 1 p.m. Eastern, we have the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. I host that with Jay McLovin. The Sports Judge comes on sometimes. Nate's been on there before.
Yeah, Jay McLovin's my second favorite.
Yeah, he was getting a little mad over that. It was funny, but then
that show's fire.
Oh, and also I just got an interview rescheduled. We're supposed to have a guy, big pro wrestling fan, and he's a great guy, but he goes to a lot of these things, and was supposed to be on last Wednesday, last Thursday, but with me being sick, I had to postpone it. Holden Horeen, he'll be on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. I think it's going to be a great chat. I'm sure we're going to talk about the wrestling from over the weekend and a lot of different things with them. So it should be a good time. So check that out. Check out tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, Around the Bases, a baseball show. We're coming back tomorrow. Stat guy Dustin Reese will be on in the morning. So join us tomorrow morning at 9. And did I forget anything, Dad?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we're probably gonna do some stuff this weekend, but we got to still iron it out. So
I didn't announce it. We do have a few shows we're going to do later in the week. I just don't know the exact times yet because I got to figure out some other stuff and see what time I'm gonna be available. But we'll get that figured out. But so look, follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Gonzo Sports Room on all three, or you can follow me on Facebook at Chris D Gonzalez. On Instagram at Chris Gonzalez, and on Twitter at Chris Gonzalez at Gonzo Sports Room. I appreciate everybody watching and being in the comment section. We really appreciate it. Please, like Sports Judge said, please like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys on Wednesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern for another episode of Gonzo and his Sports Judge Sports Talk. Stay safe and have a good night.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're out in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.